Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so excited to have you join us at a very special time for a very special event today at 1 o'clock Eastern, and it's 11 a.m. In the beautiful state of Colorado, which is where our fabulous guest, Jaycee Gaspar, is at this moment. Welcome, Jaycee. We're so excited to have you with us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's good to be back for another Secret Garden. So
I was going to say, what are we doing today anyways? What's going on today that makes today so special, Jaycee?
Yeah, so I'm here live with Bridget, and we're going to showcase one of the beautiful products that's contained within the Secret Garden kit. And of course, during this live session, it's one of the last few chances that you can use one of my exclusive discount codes to get, I think it's $150 off the retreat kit.
It is, and Jelly posted it right at the top. It's locked in there at the top. You can't miss it. Right at the top.
One of these sides.
Right over there.
We'll just point it opposite.
You and I are like over there. We have fun when we're together. Jaycee and I always have a good chuckle and a good laugh. So there'll be a lot of laughing today. And because Jaycee is Jaycee, he loves to have a crafting challenge. I don't know if you guys know this about Jaycee. So he's going to craft upside down today. Translation, his camera is not agreeing with him, but yeah. It sounds better as a crafty challenge. Like oh, good. Ray said she purchased weeks ago. Hi from Aruba. Ooh, Aruba would be fun, Jaycee. That would be so much fun. We'd love that.
Much warmer than here.
Oh, here too, yeah. So now if you guys have some questions, pop those into the chat and we'll get to those. Jelly is behind the badge and we'll be posting links to the older stuff that Jaycee is using. Make sure to tune in for other interviews that we have going on with our other fabulous instructors, because you'll get to see more of the kit that's coming out. And if you missed it yesterday, Jennifer McGuire went live at 3 p.m. and she showed something from the kit as well as the Mixed Blooms Craft Your Life kit, which is absolutely stunning. So if you missed that, then check that out. So Sue, Jaycee and I will be back here tonight at 7 p.m. It's on the calendar on the little introduction. It shows at 7 p.m. And we're going to talk about Jaycee's collection tonight. So we're going to have a play with Jaycee's collection. So it's a Jaycee day. I mean, how can that? That's awesome. I didn't know it was a thing. I should have, as the vice president of his fan club, I should have known. But yes, it is a Jaycee day today here at Altenew, which is fabulous. Oh, no, you didn't miss anything, Janet. You're good. You're right in time. We're just starting. So Jaycee, do you want to show us what we're going to do? If I get any questions, I'll let you know. And we'll just kind of chat as you craft.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, please ask any questions, even if it doesn't have to do anything with the Secret Garden retreat. But it's always good to be back. And this is what Bridget and I were talking about. I'll be upside down today, so you might have to see me orient things differently as I craft today. So one of the things, and I'm sure Jennifer probably showed the kit yesterday.
No, we didn't show the whole kit. We're just showing one thing.
Okay, great. So the one thing that I'm focusing on the kit is the panel doors layering die set. And one of the really exciting things that I like about this die set is that it can be used in many different ways with many of Altenew's florals. I'm just using one of them today to really showcase how I would like to use this. But really, the inspiration, as many things for the Secret Garden retreats, because this is our third year in a row, right, Bridget?
Yes, yes. Yep.
Yeah, and around the planning stages, I always get my David Austin Handbook of Roses at this time. So, in our zones, everything's, like, still sleeping in the garden, so it's always nice to get some fresh inspiration, before things get going with the Secret Garden retreat. So, one of the things that I saw in here was this door and this arch of roses, which I drew a lot of inspiration from today. And I made an example card to show what we're working towards. So it's this.
Oh, so pretty.
So thank you. It's just that combination of a geometric element to really highlight and anchor the flowers with a statement centerpiece. In this case, it's the die cut hello. So yeah, well, don't want to spoil too much, so I'll put that back. And I already did a little bit of mise en place with getting my card set up. So, oh, anyway, in this die set, you'll notice that there's like a folded edge die that cuts out like a door flap, which is really cool. It's a nice little review. I could see Jennifer doing something really interesting with this one because she's all about the interactive cards. And then, of course, there's other die elements for the panel door or window if you choose. So yeah, I really like this one. I think there's so many possibilities for geometric and floral elements. So let's get that out.
It's also, Cynthia said, it's also National Chocolate Cake Day, but she likes JC Day better.
We'll be showcasing desserts later in our second.
Ooh. Nice. Yes. Oh, yes. We have the macarons. Yes. JC
Yes.
and I cut, I don't know, thousands of those.
That's right. I know. I was gonna say, it's we are the dynamic duo in the team challenges, and then it's a double feature, so it's just a lot of pairings today.
Yeah. Dynamic duo was a good choice for us. We didn't even know it, but it was a good choice. Now, this is going to be amazing because you're really showing the versatility and how this can go with so many things that we already have in our stash.
That's right. Yeah. Because yeah, it's that's the thing about these Secret Garden kits is I like them to continue on past just the session itself. So I'm glad that we got to add a little bit of a personal touch too with these kits. Like we had a little bit of input on what we wanted to see in our class. So speaking of that as well, like there were other things that I brought into the session, like this. I used to work for said company, and it's just sort of nice that that we got a little bit of input on what we wanted to see as far as the class goes. So, I'm thinking things like packaging, clear, distinct sentiments with floral pairings. Here's another example as well. Upside down view. So yeah.
And it's great to see. I mean, there really is inspiration everywhere. Like even in the shower, friends, like
Yes.
even my boring Biolage bottle has some inspiration. It just has a leaf, but I could do a lot with that leaf.
Yep.
I'll let you explain this. Miss Angelo said, what happens in the retreats? Is it online?
That's right. It is a virtual retreat. So it's just nice to connect it. And, I ask that you put your cameras on because it does help gauge the pace of the class. If I see you frantically panicking, in camera over your desk, then I know I should probably slow down. But for the most part, I'll explain the inspiration in much more detail than I am here. And then we'll talk through one or two cards, depending on your instructor. And we talk, we chat, we kiki a little bit. And yeah, it's just a good time to connect over the weekend and use items from the retreat kit. Like I said, this is one of them, the panel doors die set. And I've also used the embossing folder in here, but you won't really see it in the end. But the flower or the die set that I'm using for the floral element is the anemone blue poppy, sorry. This is Craft a Flower. But really, if you're thinking about recreating this card, I'm only asking for just like another floral die set or another floral stamp set. Anything will do. It's more about the arrangement and the focus sentiment that's really the point of this card and what I'm teaching today. So
And Cynthia
Um,
said, so happy the retreat is now in 2 days. That helped me decide to sign up right away. And it's so fun to see the sneak peeks. Thank you, Cynthia.
yeah. Oh, and the perk of if, staying during the live session is, there are giveaways. And you have to be present to receive those giveaways or to enter those giveaways. So that's another perk of, the 2-day crafting retreat is now you get a little break, but
Yes.
still just as many opportunities to win prizes.
And it used to feel so sad. Like halfway through the day, you were like, oh, it's almost over. Now we
Yeah.
get like we're halfway through, but we get another day. So
Yes.
the excitement continues, which is super exciting.
So let's see. I've already cut a few pieces from the anemone blue poppy, and I'm using my sticky mat grid just to hold the die cut pieces down.
This is the 9x12, folks. If you haven't seen this one yet, this is definitely a favorite, the 9x12 sticky mat.
Yeah, I love it. It can fit all of the craft flower dies and a lot of your large floral clusters that are also in the kit. So yeah, definitely check out the link to see what else is included in the kit. And if you do decide to sign up, again, there's only a few more days left for this exclusive discount, Live JC for $150 off. So I'm just laying down all of my die cut pieces here, and I'm trying to use cardstocks that are also included in the kit, the Crafty Essentials cardstocks. Or Crafty Necessities, sorry. Not essentials, necessities. Still essential, but
And we need a little pink right now. Like you said, it's kind of drab, and where there's not snow, it's brown. And so it's either white or brown. It looks like an Oreo everywhere you go. So it's nice to see a little pink and a little spring or summer, whichever way you want to go with it.
That's right. Yep, in the same boat. We just had snow last night here in Colorado. So everything's kind of covered. Covered up the brown dead grass, so.
Yes.
And what did I say? I think I said this was rubellite. Let me just make sure.
And this, another great thing that you get to see during the retreats that's not really like advertised, you get to see different organizational styles. So here's Jaycee's for his cardstock. So if you're looking for a good cardstock organization method, this may work well for you, but we get to learn a lot of these today.
That's right. Yeah, I do show a lot of, not sneak peeks necessarily, but you do get a much more insider view and a much more intimate view of my craft room and what really happens behind the scenes. So this was pink diamond, sorry, not rubellite, but that is also in your kit. And that was this one. Nope, I lied. Berrylicious.
I think that's razzleberry, right? Is that razzleberry?
You're right. Razzleberry. Let me just get the full cardstock sheet out.
Oh, Berrylicious. It was Berrylicious. Oh.
We're just going to shout out all the colors as we stream today. One of them will be right.
Something will stick eventually. Oh, goodness. I do love having the cardstock as part of the kit, though. I think that's fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. And it's such a different change. Usually we have the inks in there. But yeah, that's right. They come from the cherry blossom. Oh, sorry.
And another organizational tip. Yay.
This is cherry blossom. This is where all these colors come from. So pink diamond, pinkalicious, rubellite, and razzleberry.
Love that organizational method too. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Another great thing about the kits is, let's say you haven't been able to try our cardstock yet. This is a great way. You get to not only get amazing products, but you get to also bring out the cardstock and give it a try, which is fantastic.
One of the things I love pairing the cardstocks with is the fresh dye inks. And, the nice thing about Altenew's color sets is that they all coordinate. So that's what I was really pulling out the ink swatches for, is that now I'm just going to move down the value of inks to the next darkest color, or 2 steps down. So this is now rubellite fresh dye ink from Cherry Blossom family of inks. And I'm just applying a light layer of ink from the center of the flower to the tips, leaving a lot of that pink diamond exposed. And I
That's a
did
hard.
group my
Oh, sorry.
sorry. Oh, I was just saying that I was grouping my dies in, by their set. So I have my arrow alignment and my keyhole alignments in groups just so I can keep myself organized on my 9 by 12 sticky mat grid. There's a large surface for crafting, so I can easily keep track of everything.
I like to group those together as well. I think that's a great tip, especially for folks just starting out with their keyhole system. And I think one of the things I think most people struggle with most is leaving that bit at the tips. It seems so simple, like just don't color out that far, but it's hard. It's really hard to leave either the white at the tips or the colored cardstock at the tips.
Yep, yep. I like doing it because I think it just adds a lot of drama and a lot of
Yeah,
depth to your flowers, so that they just don't look so flat, you know?
definitely.
So that was Rubellite. I'm gonna grab Razzleberry and move on to another mini ink blending tool. And I think you get these in your kit too, right?
Let me double check. Let me double check on that. Could you explain a little bit, in case somebody hasn't heard about the keyhole system you're going to be using? Could you explain a little bit about the keyhole system?
Yes, I have the packaging right here. So all the Craft of Flowers have this keyhole system, or at least maybe within the past 2 years, the Craft of Flowers system has this keyhole system. And it will make more sense once we start assembling the card. But you'll see that if sorry, I don't want to make you all dizzy, but I'm going to unfocus this real quick. There we go. That upside down crafting, the arrows are meant to be seen through so that you can quickly and easily align the flower petals in the flower center. So here's just one of the anemone images. And you'll see that once you align all the up arrows in their orientation, you get this flower. I'm going to slowly move this down. Here's your open keyhole alignment system. So it's just like Altenew's, all of Altenew's florals, this is just a really innovative and easy way to align your images, just like the layering stamps that Altenew sort of pioneered, and the layering stencils as well. So yeah, I think I also have a video on Jennifer McGuire's channel explaining the keyhole system.
Yes.
So fun. And it's just an easy and accessible way for new and existing crafters to really make ease and use of alignment systems.
And you are correct, JC. There are some of those in the kit. So another sneak peek or sneak information. I don't know, because it's not a peek. So I guess it's just information. I don't know if sneak information is a thing. Maybe I'm setting a trend word today. Sue had asked if what we're going to be doing tonight with JC, we're going to work with his products from the release. So I'm going to let him say the die set. I always mess this word up. So what is the die set called again, JC?
Yes, so the die set that I helped design for the Sweet Shop Retreat is called Sweet Nasturtium. And yes, and like the name suggests, from Sweet Shop, it was meant to be like a homage to edible and sweet treats. And of course, Altenew had to have a flower set. So I thought the nasturtium, since the entire plant is edible, and typically you see that garnished, like placed on top of desserts, for example, that we designed a die set around that. So that's one product. And then the other one is the Gourmet Garland layering stencil.
Yeah.
And again, just like the name suggests in Sweet Shop, that all of those foliage elements are all sort of edible or have edible themes to them. So it's mint, lemon verbena, and what was the last one? Oh, the nasturtium leaves. So they're all in there again.
And that's so versatile. You could put like flowers on there. So much that you can do with the layering stencil. Love it. And the die set, of course, but the layering stencil as well. I was like I could put flowers here. I could put this here. I could put that. You can cut it out. You can leave it flat. It's just so versatile, the products that you helped to design.
Yeah, thank you. So I hope you all stay around for that as well. It'll be Bridget and I again. So I'm excited.
Together again.
Yeah, and it's always such a good time whenever we go live, and it's nice to answer your questions.
Carrie would like to know. She said, "This is my first Altenew Live, so welcome, Carrie. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
What brushes are you using, JC?"
These are the mini ink blending brushes. I'll show the packaging again. Right there. And they come in a set of 4, and coincidentally, so do most of Altenew's fresh dye ink sets.
Yes.
So you'll notice that I put a dot on the top of mine. And that's just how I keep it organized from color value, because I never wash my brushes. So I keep like a set of greens, yellows, blues. Actually, let me just pull it out real quick. Another organization you'll see on here. I made this with my Cricut. So I just, put these, I colored like vinyl, white vinyl with the Altenew artist markers, just so that I can organize, sorry, it's this way, them in rainbow order and from lightest to darkest value.
And Carrie popped the link. Carrie and Jelly popped the link in there for the blending brushes. Okay, Amanda's posing a really hard question. This is a really hard question for me to answer because there's so many choices. What is your favorite color combo, JC?
I think like a rose petal and warm gray is just fantastic. Let me pull those out real quick.
Now, do yours change a lot, or do you kind of stick for a while?
I think it depends on the season, just like right now. Oopsie. Just not supposed to show that one.
Coming out today.
You didn't see that. Let me just pull this off camera real quick. Rose petal. Rose petal. And then I couldn't fit them all in one binder, so I'm going to pull out the other one. Do it off camera this time, silly me.
We should have an organizational video with you. Your organization is fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a pretty combo. That's a beautiful combo. I know, Amanda, she said she loves that binder system. That is fantastic. I just have little swatches, but that's fantastic. And do you use one brush per color? That was Carrie's follow-up question.
Yes. So back on this, well, not per color per se, but I have like a family of greens, blue, violet, and then I have like red, violet up here. So kind of sorter. I just have them in color family groups.
And you can really start out. When I started out, I had just the rainbow, and I just kept a microfiber cloth. You don't need to use any liquid. You really don't with these brushes. Just on a microfiber cloth or a spare piece of cardstock, you can get the darker tone off and go into the lighter tones just fine.
Yep. And that's what I did before the mini ink blending brushes came out. These are the small ones, and that's what I had. So I think I bought like 2 sets of 4 because that's how they come. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then black and brown. And then you can encompass all the Altenew ink families really easily. And like Bridget said, you just wipe them off. That's what I used to do.
Everybody wants to put water or liquid, and I'm like, no, we don't need the liquid. Stop the liquid. We don't need it. It's okay. Oh, yeah. Just a microfiber cloth, paper towel, something like that. It comes off beautifully. I love the vibrancy of these inks. They're just so beautiful.
Yeah. So easy to color with.
And I love that the rounds, the top locks on there. So good. I dropped mine a lot, apparently. I didn't realize how much I dropped my inks until the rounds came along, and I didn't get cat hair on them when I dropped them on the floor, which was fantastic. I may or may not still have orange sorbet stuck in my radiator because I couldn't reach it. So it'll be orange sorbet. It's a pretty color.
It is. It is a pretty color. So let's see. I ink blended all of the flowers. And Bridget, can you remind me how much time I have, please?
Oh, you're good. We're at 1:27. You're good. So we have at least about another half an hour.
Okay, great. So I'm just rotating this because, again, this is upside down for me. But you'll see that I like to orient everything in like their proper orientation. So here are my up arrows. Here's the open keyhole. Let me just put it against something so that you can see it better. So there's the keyhole. Okay. And then when it comes to assembly, all we have to do is glue the pieces down using your favorite liquid adhesive. So that's what I'm going to do now in order. And on the die cut pieces themselves, I think my camera's still focusing. No?
Oh,
Yes.
there you go, right there. Perfect.
Oh, upside down. There we go. You can see an etched little number 1. So then you just go in numerical order from 1 all the way until the last number in the die set. And the nice thing is that usually the flower center is what covers up this opening. So you can't even tell at the very end.
Nobody knows our secrets of layering there.
That's right.
So we have a few questions and a few suggestions or requests.
Sure.
The first one is, do all Altenew inks come in mini size as well?
I think so, right? That's right.
Except for the pigments. The pigments do not come in a mini.
Right.
Like the
Oh, right. Yeah,
obsidian, the antique gold, rose gold, cloud white, those don't come in mini, but everything else does. Yes.
And it's this one. Yeah.
So that one's just in the big mama.
You want to see the big mama anyway.
But with obsidian, you need the big
Yeah.
mama. Amanda would love to see a craft room tour organizational video.
That has been a long time coming, I tell you. I don't know when that will happen, but I think about it a lot. I really do.
Oh, Jennifer drops her inks too. Oh my gosh, yes. Thank goodness for the rounds because the cap doesn't come off. Those are tough, like what they go through in my office. And Becky would like to know where you can get those little binders. I think Becky likes that organizational method too.
Yeah, I just got mine off of Amazon. But I designed the inserts myself. So I used Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and my Cricut to make that. So, yeah.
And Stephanie would like to know, what is the easiest way to put the Altenew cardstock in order?
Ooh, for me, because Altenew continues to come out with different colors or additional colors that match with their fresh dye inks. I found it easier when I made my key ring, this one right here. I had to lay them all out on my table in their swatches before putting them on the ring. And for me, I just did it in rainbow order again, starting from light pink. And for me, they're going to look slightly different on camera than they are in person.
Yeah.
So, and then I did it from like lightest value to darkest color. And then moving on to oranges, same deal. Sorry, I went off camera. Same deal, orange to brown, yellow to green, and then all the way down to the grays down here. So that's all I did. And really, I do it for like color swatching because I like to hold my cardstocks up to items to color match them. So like this, and this is all in one of the perfect pairings that I had on the Altenew channel. So yeah, I like to really just hold them up to whatever I'm looking at, just so I can get a true color match when I'm doing color inspiration. So in this case, like this door, I think is closer to Nimbus.
Very, very good tip. And we do have swatches in rainbow order on the Altenew website that are free. If you look under, I believe it's under freebies, and there are swatches for everything. Anything we make that has a color, it's there. So you could use the Fresh Dye Ink rainbow order to put your cardstocks in order or your ink swatches in order as well.
Right. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, that is true, because you can organize them, your fresh dye inks, just as you would your colored cardstocks, because they match in order and everything. Not every cardstock has a fresh dye, or not every fresh dye ink has a cardstock yet, but it's still a great basis to match everything. Yeah, Bridget's right. I like that. Actually, that's a pretty good idea. So.
I try that work smarter, not harder a lot of the times. It doesn't always, so it backfires a lot. But I was like, oh, they took the thinking out of it for me. And maybe someday we'll have something, a class on color theory, like a really big class on color theory at Altenew someday, maybe.
Maybe.
So that would be fantastic. Maybe. Now, what is one of your favorite things about the retreats?
Oh, it's always the interaction. Honestly, like we can go through a bunch of, like Bridget mentioned color theory, like really teachable points, but you don't really get to replicate the just the interaction that you have between classmates. It's I remember seeing a group of folks, they even take the retreat together,
Yes.
and they put it on a big screen, and I just thought, like, that's so amazing to be able to do, um, and craft together in person, but also, like, via the virtual sessions. Um, so
I think one of the fun things too is the instructors show up at the other instructors' classes. So like
yes.
the instructors will pop in, like Jennifer will pop into JC's and JC will pop into Jennifer's. And, everybody's mixing and matching and checking things out and, adding commentary in the comments for that. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I
All
have a
the
lot of my, like, close crafty friends too showing up on this live session. I think we have Dawn. Who else is on there?
Mindy,
Mindy. Oh yes, Mindy.
Tisneem.
Miss Tasneem. And is Miss Zilski in this one as well?
Not this one. Not this
Okay.
one. Yeah. So we have for the Secret Garden, we have, of course, JC. That would be awkward. We of course have JC, and we have, of course, Jennifer McGuire joining us because she did hers yesterday talking about this event. As you mentioned, we have Dawn Wolfslegel coming to join us for this one. We also have Christina Werner, Tasneem, who is one of the co-founders of Altenew, Yana Asmakula, and we have Mindy Egan, as I mentioned, and that is everybody. And the fun part is over the 2 days, you get Christina, Tasneem, Yana, Dawn, JC, and Mindy. Then later, you get a live session, bonus class with Jennifer. So it's going to be a lot of fun because it's really not 3 days, but it's 3 days you get to do the retreat. So because Jennifer's class is not a full day. So let me just make sure I say that correctly. Jennifer's class is not a full day, but it's another day we get together for a period of time and enjoy crafting together for the event. So very exciting.
Yeah, and I like that we switch it up a lot, it's always exciting every year. I think it gets better and better.
Yes.
So, as long as you all invite me to come, I'll keep doing it.
And this kit, and I think the reason this kit, and I will get to your question, Laura, I promise I did see it. I think this kit as well, the retreat is virtual. It's hosted over Zoom. But I think one of the greatest things, and you mentioned this earlier, is all of the instructors had input into the designs this time.
Yep.
This is the best kit I have ever seen from Altenew. And I think it's because you guys all had input into it to make it even better. So you're kind of getting to, work with stuff that you've kind of input into, which I think always makes better projects,
Yeah, I'm really glad that we got to provide some guidance as to what we wanted to see in the retreat kit. Because like I mentioned, then I could immediately show and draw inspiration from specific sources so that you all can carry that onto future projects. And it's not just to say that we couldn't do that before, but in this case, now I can really focus and center some attention on the products and carry them further.
And we have the Facebook group too, which is fantastic. If you've never taken a retreat with us, we have the Facebook group where you get to interact with the instructors and each other, share your projects, get inspired by other folks' projects. And there are so many projects. We're going to have 3 unboxing days this year, I believe. We have a prep session. So we go through and we cut every piece you need for the class to get you ready. It's on a Saturday. And the unboxings, we have an unboxing where we go through everything in the kit once you get your kit. And then the other days, I go through with you and show you how to layer together the layered doors, all of them. And just so you're familiar with this set. So it's not a brand new set the day you take it out for the event. That seems to help a lot of folks with being nervous about the day and finishing cards and such. Laura wanted to know the difference between the crisp inks and the fresh dye inks.
Ooh, I find that the fresh dye inks settle a lot better.
Yes.
So That's definitely a perk. I had the fresh dye inks as well, or I shouldn't say had, I still have them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do find that they level out so much cleaner and, like, on my swatches, for example. Um, oh my goodness, again, JC. There we go.
The one page. And they blend. I find they blend together so perfectly. Like they just, yeah, I love them both equally. They're like children. You got to love them both equally.
Yes.
But I do find, and JC and I know nothing about like the chemical composition or anything like that, but I do find they blend. I find they blend a little bit better, and they just, when they set or are finished, dyeing the paper, I like my look. I really, really like my look.
Yeah, yeah.
And Lycian, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry. How do you inspire yourself when you get new materials to make a card?
Yeah, I kind of will delve into my creative process. It's like, for I usually start with a color palette. There are many great free resources there, online as far as color inspiration goes. Altenew's website and newsletters also have color inspo on them. But that's usually where I start if I haven't found a color palette already. So in this case, you saw that I took it from the David Austin Handbook of Roses,
Gorgeous.
which I
That's
love.
gorgeous. Oh,
Yeah, just makes me really excited for spring and of course the Secret Garden retreat because by the time we go live, things in my garden have started to wake up. Um, so it's always just a good time. It's just something to look forward to. But I usually start with a color palette, um, and then when I add in the products from Altenew, I know my main focus is to showcase them in a way that's universal, something that a lot of people will find really enticing, right? Um, but also showcasing the products. So I really do try to focus on what you're looking at and pairing them with other items in your Altenew stash. So those are really the three steps that I follow as I create. That's a good question. Thank you.
and Sandra, the days are not scheduled just yet. We're making sure, we want to make sure that people have their kits. So we don't know if we're going to do them. They're either the week before the event, meaning, so the event is May 3rd, 4th. Let me look at my calendar because I don't even know what today is. So let me look at my calendar. So it possibly would be the week of the 21st through the 25th, but we may be able to go the week before that. So 1 to 2 weeks before the event, we are going to try to do those to give you plenty of time. If you can't be at any of them, they're all recorded, so you can watch them later if you'd like to.
Yep. Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, even if you can't attend any of those, we do try to make sure that the session is still doable
Yeah.
within the allotted time. Of course, if you know yourself, and like for me, I am very much a slow crafter. If I didn't prep all of this before coming here, this would be a panic session. But if 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 I didn't if you know that about yourself, right, then you can certainly attend those sessions, and it's much easier and relaxing for you to attend. And the nice thing is, since we split this into 2 days, you can um, prep on each day instead of having to do all 6 or 7 sessions all in one day.
Now, where did your hugs come from again?
Oh, I'm sorry. This one is from Timeless Sentiments die set.
I think that one's still my favorite. I know we have 3 now, but I think that's still my favorite, the first one.
Oh yeah, I because it has like many occasions on here, right? Like hello, I think hello can easily become a birthday card once you stamp or write for
Anything.
happy birthday
Yes.
in the inside.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I love the first one. The third one I think has all of the holiday sentiments. So
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
past that time, but if you need it for next year, of course, it's a really easy one to grab. So let's see. We're about 20 minutes left, right, Bridget?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's Jelly's favorite too. She likes that one too.
Oh, good.
Jelly, could you post the link to Jennifer McGuire's live yesterday talking about the retreat and using the product so they can get a sneak peek at that one yesterday? Oh, so excited. Loli said, just signed up with Jaycee's code. So looking forward to the retreat. The first. Thank you, Jaycee and Bridget. Yay!
Thank you.
We can't wait to see you there.
Yeah,
And I
to see
can't
you
wait.
there.
I cannot wait for you guys to see the kit. I'm so excited. I mean, jaw dropping. It always is, but this one, I think it's because the designers like really had some input, and it just, you can kind of see the designers in the products, which is really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. And
so you can see something else kind of here a little bit, maybe. Little sneak peek here.
Yeah. I know I didn't want to mention it because I didn't realize I grabbed two, but I was really excited by this one.
It's gorgeous.
So hopefully somebody else will use that in a different session. But let's see. So I did dry emboss Elegant Flourish. This is in your kit as well. It's the embossing folder. It has a coordinating something else to it. But all I'm doing with that panel door die cutout is using it as sort of a frame and anchor to put the floral elements on top of. Just like I showed you in the inspiration image from David Austin's handbook. So I'm going to apply a little bit of foam adhesive to the back of this and center it on my panel. And one of the nice things too is you can, with this card example, is I thought about using my die set, the Sweet Nasturtium die set on this. Certainly a possibility, but I was looking through my stash. I saw Craft a Flower Blue Poppy Anemone, and I had to use it again. It's one of my favorite Craft of Flowers.
Oh, I don't know, Vicky. I'm sorry. I'll try to whisper. I'm just loud. I'm sorry. I apologize. She asked if there was a way to adjust the volume, that I was much louder than you. So I think I just am in life. I'm sorry. Oh, goodness. Okay.
I'm sorry.
We got the, no worries. I think every crafter knows eventually your head has to go through the camera. It just does. Just does. All right.
There we go. I just wanted to make sure it's center.
Absolutely.
Trying to use the grid lines on my Altenew mat and aligning that. There we go. So this sort of acts as my label, for example, like on my packaging here. This is sort of more of the inspiration and, of course, the anemone that's in here. I'm going to have to turn it towards me real quick. But once I have my focal label on the center, then I can start adding in my floral elements and arranging them on top of this.
And really so many color options for using that door panel as well. I mean, really, you can change this for any occasion.
And I really like the examples that are already on here. Kind of gives that Mediterranean feel to it, or that, what are those buildings called in the East Coast? The brownstones.
Oh, yes. Yep. I could think of, like, when I first saw this, I thought of like using it with masonry wall to make like a building. Like all I could think of was like Italy and those old beautiful doors and things like that. Yes. So so many options depending on what you put with it, you know, it's so versatile.
Yeah. Or Altenew released that Moroccan inspired set or collection, and that's just another great one as well, to have that Northern African inspiration to it.
And I love this too. I love that we've been doing this with the instructors so that you can kind of see, because Altenew's name means old and new, so that you can kind of see how wonderful the newer products work with the older products that we have already in our catalog. I know it's really sticky.
It really was. It did not want to let go. It's like, wait, I want to be showcased.
It's like, I'm the star. Leave me here.
Really messed up my setup there. There we go. Okay. I'm just applying different layers of foam tape. Sorry, that's what I'm doing off camera here. Just applying different thicknesses of my foam adhesive.
And May did show in an Instagram unboxing that we are having some new sizes of adhesive come out. So very exciting. I believe those are in March, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting.
This is very exciting. And I know I didn't mention this. I kind of just did it. I used Mountain Pine ink, I think. Yeah, that's right. I used Mountain Pine to cut and color the cardstock. So you get that nice tone-on-tone effect. It's especially if you have a hard time with color complement. It's just a really easy way to work in color value to get a lot of depth. So just a quick little tip there. And of course, Altenew's colors, they span inks, cardstocks, artist markers, watercolors. So there's so many possibilities to mix and match between your mediums.
Okay, what are you doing with the scissors?
I cut my die cuts apart just so I can get more possibilities with arrangements.
I see scissor points. What are we doing with scissor points, Jaycee? Yes, Sue. There was, if you go watch Instagram, May did an unboxing of her a box she received from Altenew, and you can see them in there. So make sure to head over to Instagram to watch under May's channel to watch that. You can see lots of fun things coming out of a very large brown cardboard box that May shows. So very exciting. It is always exciting. We know what's coming in it, but it's still, when you get it and you can actually put your hands physically on it, it's still so invigorating and exciting to get it.
So there we go. I'm just tucking in the foliage elements behind the this panel. I see I'm gonna lie about the color again. Very delicious.
We're gonna have to have like flashcards of color. People are gonna have to show them to us so you and I can get caught up on our colors there. Holy Toledo. Yes, nobody does big florals like Altenew. I think that's, Kathy said that. I think that's a fair. I feel that way. I agree, Kathy.
It's just so easy to get like really clear focal points, sentiments, and it's just a mix of what I really like about Altenew's florals is that they are like kind of real, kind of not. You can tell that there's like still that illustrated element to it. And I think it makes it just a little bit more personal without it being like too real, like you printed something from the internet, that you could easily access online, right? So I think there's still just like a beautiful, artful element to Altenew's illustrations. And, I would, after how many years? It's been 10 years since Altenew has been
on the 11th.
Yeah. And year after year, like it's still amazing that this still hasn't come out and this still hasn't, it's surprising every time. I think that's why I keep coming back to do it.
Now, what are you loving most right now? Are you loving dies or stencils, or where is your heart kind of settling?
Dies are making a comeback for me. Altenew came out with the Creative Cuts subscription.
Yeah.
So it's, again, pioneering and innovative. I'm back on dies right now.
Yes.
while that's out.
Those houseplants, jaw dropping. Love those too. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think I live between the stencils and the dies, somewhere in between. The stencils, just the realism you get with both of them is just fantastic. But like you said, it's not a faux real. It's not too real, so that it, which is good.
Yeah. It still feels like, oh, I can make that, no matter the occasion.
Exactly.
Let's see. So now I'm at the point where I can add my sentiment, but before I do that, I'm gonna add splatter.
Yes.
Why not?
I'm team splatter. Love splatter. Oh, that's true. That would make a very beautiful anniversary card.
Oh yeah.
Or a Valentine's. Valentine's is coming right up for those that celebrate that. Or Galentine's Day. Valentine's Day too. All kinds of pink fabulous holidays coming up. Ooh, the gold pearl.
Gold
Ooh.
pearl. I've had this for years, and I still like am barely working through it. Is what it seems like. Once you have this palette from Altenew, I don't know how I'm gonna get another one because I haven't felt the need to get another one.
You have to have a backup. There are some things you have to have a backup of. It was it was funny. We were at Create last year, and neither of us had used our 9x12 mat yet. We were scared to because we were afraid we were going to get color on it, and we didn't have a backup. So
Now I have a
we
backup, and that's why you
bonded.
see this on my table. Yep.
Now we have them. You gotta have the backup. I know. I was
Yes.
going to say your mat is not that beautiful pink tone your small one is. It's a beautiful color. Everybody's like, where did Jaycee purchase his pink mat? It was hard work and ink blending that he got a beautiful pink mat. Oh, that
So
just,
much ink.
oh, it's like a delicious frosting on a cupcake. It just is perfect. It looks so good. Now, do you have a direction you always go in? Like, do you go from always go from top right to bottom left, or do you switch up your orientation of that?
It really depends. It actually depends on my sentiment. And when I turn this around, I'll sort of point at it. Oh, actually, I have my example. Because I did the same thing on the example. Is I like
Oh,
my splatter to go directionally across the sentiment. Sort of like the Milky Way galaxy. Like it points and draws your eyes towards the point of your card, right? There's a lot to admire and a lot to look at. But your sentiment is really your focal point. So that's how I like to incorporate that. And since we're on that subject, I also do the same with enamel dot type embellishments. So these are actually fairly new, the pearl
yes.
dots embellishments. So I have light gold, and there's another one, ivory. There are others, right? I think there are 3 more that I'm not
I think
mentioning.
there are like maybe 6 colors total. I just got mine, so I'm so excited. I was gushing this weekend over getting the package in the mail. They are even more beautiful in person. Like, you look at them online, you're like, oh, those are pretty. Yes, there are 6 total. So we have coral, light gold, blush, ivory, cream rose, and satin gold.
Yes. And what I like about these ones is like they're not too big. I mean, yes, there's a variety of sizes, but um I think they're just like the perfect size for me. There's 8, 6, 4, and 3, I think is what they are.
They
Um,
are, I have it pulled up there, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
yes, so good still. Yeah, it's perfect for what I like on my card fronts, just so
And
that they're like not too much.
I've always liked that rounded kind of dome at the top. I
True,
don't know
yeah,
why, I've always liked the rounded for some reason.
yeah, and it's very tactile. I do like after finishing the card is like, oh my goodness, sorry, I'm like having a hard time.
That one is like, I know exactly where I want to go, and you're not putting me there, so I'm going to go myself.
Right.
So we had Vicky said, can I just say Jaycee is as sweet as he is talented? And we had I'm trying to roll up Confederate. I can't see the rest of the name. Okay. She said, you're incredibly talented. And Carrie said, wow, Jaycee put so much thought and time into his design. So precise. The ink blending is amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, okay, here we go. Miss Tamp, just love JC's designs and style. I always try to rewatch his videos. Okay, so we have 2 questions. The first one is Cynthia. Can Jaycee comment on splattering with a water brush versus a paintbrush, please? Because we see you with that water brush quite frequently in a lot of your videos.
Yes, yes. I just have found that it is the best way. Sorry, this is my what is this? My embossing folder or embossing.
Yes,
Ah,
powder,
yes,
powder,
thank you, thank you. I just
anti-static
used that
powder.
to, yeah. But in here, that's what I use. I only use the water brush, the fine tipped water brush to do splatter. So I have one dedicated to the metallics, to white, and to jet black are the 3 that I like to use. I do put water in the reservoir, and for me, I find that this gives me the most consistent splatter without it like getting on my camera, getting on me. I like for sure though. I'm like that's the most successful wave I've experienced as opposed to the brush. I think the synthetic bristles don't spring as much as natural bristles, and the shorter they are, the more concentrated you can get. So I can really control where I place everything.
And Lucian, I hope I'm saying this right again. How do you put this card into an envelope?
I just bought A6 sized envelopes. Altenew has a great range of envelopes as well, just in case you were curious. Let me just pull them out real quick. So they have, of course, this collection here. Until I have backups, I will not be using these because they're just so nice to keep in this little bin.
So pretty.
But I find that the A6 size is better for these thicker cards. Like here, let me turn it on its side.
Oh, look at that dimension. Oh, it's
Yes.
gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
But there we go.
And I love seeing the two contrasting colors and just seeing the options that really you guys can take with this. Oh, Laura said, I'm new to your lives, and Jaycee is an awesome type of maker. I love his talent. Yes, we love his talent too. Love his inspirations and ideas, and it is absolutely fabulous to have him back for the retreat. Do we have, while we're winding up, I'll let Jaycee talk a little bit about, he kind of talked about his sentiment, but on the cards, do you guys have any questions on the cards? Do you have any questions on the retreat coming up? Happy to answer anything that you have about the retreat. If you think of a question later, don't worry. We are going to have more coming up. We do have interviews coming up with Mindy and Dawn next week. And then we'll have Tasneem as well coming. Not sure of the date yet on Tasneem's, but May 3rd and 4th is the event. And don't forget to use the live Jaycee for an extra $150 off on that. And don't forget to watch the remainder of the lives so that you can see some of the perks and kit stuff that are in the kit. There we go. You also heard Jaycee mention that there were no inks included in this kit. In the past, we have included some inks, but for this one, we left it where there's an ink add-on bundle you can get if you would like to. And that's on the page on the Altenew website, so you could check that out. Let's see. Oh, Confederate Dixie Darling. That was her name. I just saw the Confederate and I couldn't see the rest of it. Jaycee, thank you so much generously for sharing your talent with us. Don't forget, Jaycee's back tonight with me, and we're going to craft with his beautiful release that he created with Altenew. So very excited. It was at the Sweet Shop Retreat. There we go. Couldn't think of the name. Lives are usually at 3:30 p.m. You can go look on Altenew on YouTube, and you can look under live. And if we have more scheduled, like we have Dawn's and Mindy's scheduled, you can see the date and time of those. Okay, good question, Carrie. I think Carrie's just starting out, so this could be good for you, Carrie. The retreats are a good place, I think, for beginners because you get to go into a lot of folks that have been in our field for a long time and do this as jobs. So they do this a lot, and you get to see their process and you get to see everything plus the products and everything. What colors would you recommend, Jaycee, to somebody just starting out?
Yeah, I think it depends on what you like to make. Of course, Altenew is known for their wide range of florals. So I think a good red set is a great place to start, especially if you're making roses, cherry blossoms, and you can mix and match within the 4-color set. So if you like lighter flowers, you can just focus on the white color palette. Or if you like deeper flowers, as you saw on this one, you can start with a darker color and ink blend on top of that so that you have a wider range and a wider experimentation of color values. So I think a good set of reds, and then of course you have to have your supporting foliage elements. So then conversely, a set of greens. Which one is it? It has jet black in it.
Oh, that's the green fields. I think fields, because we have green meadows, green fields. There's a couple green ones, but I think it's green fields. I'm pretty sure it's green fields.
And I will try to show it again because my camera's upside down. It's
just so hard. You're doing good.
Frayed leaf, evergreen, forest glaze, and jet black. So if you have a stamp or yeah, a stamp set that has an outline to it. You already have your black
Yeah.
in this set. So 2 sets I would recommend easily, Red Cosmos and this one, Greenfields.
I think that was my first green, actually. I think I used it on everything forever,
Yes.
and then I
Yeah,
finally
it's
branched
just, like,
out
right in
and
between, you know, it's
yeah,
not too yellow, it's not too blue, it's not too eucalyptusy, just the perfect balance of greens no matter whichever way you layer it.
yeah. And
Great
you can
question.
always start building your rainbow too. As like JC said, maybe start with your favorite. What color do you love? If
Mhm.
you love a blue, then pick one from the blue family and kind of work your way through. And somebody said they love there are no inks because they're mini cube, folks. That's great. That we love to hear that. Thank you for giving us that feedback. That's great for us to know. And somebody else asked if they will be using those inks in the retreat. Yes. So what we did this time was we gave to the instructors a list of families to choose from. So that's the only families they'll be using in the event are those inks that are listed. Now, there are a lot of inks listed. So if you don't have all the inks listed, don't let that keep you from signing up. Use whatever inks you have with you. If you're taking JC's advice and you're buying that pink and that green, everything can be pink and green. It's okay. We would rather have you come craft with us and have fun with us than, have that be a barrier to not joining us as well. Okay.
Can I
Did you?
add on to that one, Bridget? Yeah, like,
Yes.
we also like, all of us on the, instructor list, like, we do also like, there's a target, right? I know we probably will be using specific inks and cardstocks, for example, but really the whole point is that, you are able to transcend and use other products within your stash. So I might say alternatives like darker value of inks with your lighter cardstock. Because I mean, in the end, I want you to finish a card that you're proud of with what you have, including the retreat kit items, even if you don't have the inks. So you'll still make something really fun and beautiful with all of the instructors.
And also too, the Facebook group, you can be like, hey, JC, I got the list for your class. I don't have this color. Do you have a good substitute?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
JC will be like, sure, yeah. He'll get his beautiful binders out that we all want now. And he'll give you some suggestions. And all the instructors are the same way. If you have questions on something to substitute from their list, they're super quick to get back to you and be like, hey, try this, and if you're like, oh, I don't have that, so lots of suggestions. The more important thing is that we craft together and
Yes.
share in this gorgeous kit. There's a camaraderie at these, which is really fun, and it's the events are almost hard to describe because people ask, what are they like? And I would say it's fun, but there's a camaraderie that is just hard. I don't know. It's hard to describe, isn't it, JC? It's just
Yeah, and you scroll through, like, at least for me, like, during
yeah.
the sessions, I do try to scroll through the attendees, to see what everybody's up to, what the pace is, and it's just fun to see all the smiles. There's nothing that sort of replaces that feeling when we do these virtual events, but especially during Secret Garden because it's Altenew florals. That's what I love about it.
Yeah. And this one, whew, wait till you guys see this kit. I'm so excited for once it's all out. But so make sure to turn into our other lives that we have with the other instructors to get more sneak peeks at what is going to be coming your way. It was so much fun and so much. Oh, well, sorry you can't join us, Jennifer, but we're glad that you had fun at last year's Secret Garden. Oh, nice. She said so surprised at the results that she achieved. That's fantastic. Are the sessions available after the lives? Yes. And there's no time limit. So let's say in 15 years, you want to go back and make JC's card, you can. Long as you still have the dies, you can go back and make JC's card. So that's the great thing. These are yours. They live in Altenew Academy. They're yours. So you get to go watch them whenever you want to. You can watch them 100 times if you want to. Totally up to you. And that's some folks, the day of the event, they call it the prototype. They're making it for the first time. They're getting a feel for it. And a lot of folks go back and remake it and then share it in the Facebook group and say, I liked my first one, but here's what I did on my second one. And I think sometimes the instructors get inspired, JC, by they'll change one thing and you're like, oh, I didn't think of that,
Mhm.
and it's so inspiring to see their work as well. Now, what is your favorite thing about teaching?
I in my full-time job too, I also do procedural type stuff. But I do find it rewarding to really suggest different things that people can learn from. And I think that's why every year, especially with Altenew's continuous release of new kits, right, that it's always inspiring to come up with new ways to be creative. And, our attendees also range from beginner to advanced,
Yep.
and everybody seems to learn something new. And I even learn new things in the chat as well. People will chat, and I answer. Bridget will help me, or whoever my moderator is. And I learn things as well during these sessions. So it's a fun back and forth interactive. Like Bridget said, there's nothing that replaces that as we do these virtual retreats.
And it is, I've learned so much too, just in the chat, like people give tips and tricks and I'm like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I didn't know that. Like that's super, super helpful. So lots of great tips in there as well. Everything, you don't have to have Facebook. You will get emails from Altenew and you can go into Altenew Academy. You do not have to go on Facebook. That's not required at all. You can share your projects in Altenew Academy as well, over in there. Right now, we're not doing the pictures of the kit. So we're not doing the pictures of the kit right now. We're doing the interviews so that we can share that with the instructors. Everything will be on Zoom. So you'll get a link and you click on it and you go over. And if you need help with that, just let us know. You can reach out to support at Altenew if you have any questions about that. We're here to help you. We're here to make this a seamless transition and event for you, and just to have a lot of fun, get to know some of your favorite crafters a little bit better, and get to spend some quality time being inspired by them and making projects that they've created. So I'm so glad you guys found the time to join us today. And thank you, Jaycee, for making time for us today to craft twice. And I'll thank you again tonight too, but and thank you for all the chat and the conversation. Don't forget to use Jaycee's code. It's pinned to the top. It's also in the description down below this video. Hopefully you're making the end date of that, but we hope to see you at this event to have more crafty fun and create some beautiful projects. And from all of us at Altenew, thank you so much for allowing us to help you craft your life. Bye, everyone.